Tonight on the Black Channel, white supremacy doesn't take a holiday, never has and never will, and neither do we. The Black Channel is live. Unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back to the home, the haven, the stronghold, and the everlasting superfortress of intelligent black thought. We are the Black Media, 365 days a year. And this is the Black Channel. And I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the voice of Black America, the Black Authority, broadcasting to you live from the only historically black college university of higher education and learning in the cosmos. You are, of course, welcome to join us. And join us you shall, because on tonight's program here, as you all know, this is a tradition. This is a tradition for us here at the Black Channel. It has been a source of contention for some, a source of pride for us, that we have always done it the same way. And I have always been glad to broadcast on so-called holidays because I have always made the contention. The white supremacy does not take a holiday, and neither do we. And right now, there is a lot going on. One of our brothers out there, we got video coming out of Akron, Ohio. Folks are on the ground out there. They got all their heavy-duty military equipment rolling through. They are making it very clear that they are prepared. And you know what this means. When this happens, that's usually a result of saying the fix is in. As you can see here, they parked the exhaust pipe directly next to the man. So, already letting you know they're in a hostile state here. By the way, that's your military, these surplus military vehicles being put to use and being put back into service. So first they used them against the Iraqis and the Afghans. Now they're using them against the folk they really want to go after. So, yeah, straight across the yard. Don't worry about that. Straight across the yard. We're good. We're good. So, a lot going on out there right now. Some folks are feeling the heat about it. You're getting more stuff coming in. Folks are out there congregating and aggregating around the mayor's house. So, some folks are really getting upset now. They're aggregating around the mayor's house. And a lot of folk are seeing what's going on. And I've been telling people about this. So right now for the 4th of July, you got a city on red alert. Is what you got for the 4th of July. You have a city on red alert. To add to things here, as some of you may have heard, there has been a mass shooting up in Highland Park. It's in Chicago, and you got folk up there. Boy, I'm telling you, they're ready for things to go one way, weren't they? They're ready for things to go one way and not quite going the way that they were hoping for there. Not quite going the way they were hoping for there. So they've had their 4th of July festivities. Tweet up here from Tariq. They were having their 4th of July festivities. 6 folk been killed. 6 folk have been killed so far. They were all ready for things to go a different way here. Folks, just understand this is the new normal. This is the state of affairs. This is the state of affairs as we see it here unfolding. This is what's happening. No, you don't need to have a holiday under these circumstances. No need for that. No need for that. I'm just going to Tariq's page here. You can see he's been keeping up with this. So you can see here, he put up a post here earlier saying the Highland Park mass shooting suspect, 22-year-old Bobby E. Cremo III. And more foolery there, so does make an interesting point to be had. And a lot of people out there right now, as you were going about your holiday festivities, now everybody's on alert. The 4th of July has been canceled. The holiday has been canceled is what I'm telling you. The holiday's been canceled. That's it. Holiday's done. Not going to be a 4th of July this year. The holiday's been canceled. The holiday has been canceled so that we may bring you the insurrection. The holiday has been canceled so that you are on red alert. The holiday has been canceled. Outside the mayor's house in Akron. This is the scene outside the mayor's house. One of the things I've taught you all here for years, that if we cannot all be equally comfortable, then we'll all be equally uncomfortable. If we cannot all be equally comfortable, then we will all be equally uncomfortable. So much for your extended holiday. So much for that. No matter where you go and where you look at, all of a sudden things have gotten damn serious. Remember, I was saying last night, I was lamenting, if people are allowed to forget about these things, they will forget about that. But as long as the heat is on, as long as the threat is real, and as long as it never recedes, then the attitude is going to remain vigilant. Looks pretty damn vigilant to me right now. It looks pretty damn vigilant to me right now. Now, let me tell you, 5 years ago, you didn't see things like this. 5 years ago, you didn't see things like this. 10 years ago, you damn sure didn't see anything like this. That wasn't the way it was. Now you got the folks where the politicians, the police are and everything. They got armed security around the houses. What does that tell you? The attitude has changed. You even have the folks, the abortion activists using the tactics that they saw coming from the black resistance. Now they want to roll up on the Supreme Court justices' houses. Everybody trying to use our legitimate grievances and our legitimate tactics to go off and do stuff like that. They're letting you know who actually is the spear point on this and who actually is the trendsetter about how you make things change. So what they're showing you right now is that there's no real credible threat. There's nothing. And they're already letting you know, oh, we a little birdie told us we better get in position. A little birdie told us we better get in position. That's where they're at right now. If you haven't been following me on Twitter, you want to go ahead and follow me on Twitter. I got the posts up over there. No, things are real this year. Things are real this year. And that's the way it should be. We don't need a holiday. We don't need a day off. We don't need to sit down. The party's canceled. The party has been canceled. The celebration has been canceled. The holiday has been canceled. We don't need a holiday. We don't need a break. We don't need to sit down. We've been letting our hair down now for 60 damn years. Don't let your hair down. Turn up. That's what needs to happen now. It needs to be all day, every day. We have an entire society of grievances and injustices that need to be balanced out. Hell no, all day, every day. All day, every day. Not just there, but everywhere. The city's on alert right now. The city is on alert right now. Understand that the city is on alert. The city's on high alert. They know what's going on. They know what's concerning them. They've been sitting around. They've been watching the whole situation. They're on high alert for a reason. They're not out there for nothing. They're on high alert for a reason. They're on high alert because a precedent has been set and folks are not responding the way they used to. Nobody's calling for the pastors and the preachers to come out now. Nobody's calling for the pastors and the preachers. What we're saying is the dialogue is completely different from what it's been. Nobody's calling for the pastors and the preachers and the clergy to come out. They're bought and paid for clergy. Nobody's calling for them to come out. Nobody's looking for them to come up and say anything. Nobody's waiting for them to speak up. Nobody invited them to the podium. And it's been that way now for years. Whole new paradigm. You don't have a specific person you can go to who's going to, quote, go back to the community and go calm everybody down. You don't have somebody who can go back to the community and just go calm everybody down. That's not what's going on this time. Hasn't been for a long time now. Things are different. Things are different, and it's good that things are different. We don't need the same old, same old. Black folk need to get on high alert and stay on high alert. I'm down here in New Orleans, Louisiana right now. I've been on buck dance watch now for 3 days. And let me tell you, the attitude even here, folks, are a little more serious. It's not really a festive attitude down here. It's not really a festive atmosphere down here right now. That's not really what's going on. It's not really like Mardi Gras and folks letting their hair down and acting a fool. It's not really. It's a couple of fools puffing a little bit of weed, but for the most part, everybody's down. This is the most business, serious-minded, quote, celebration I've seen in a very long time, especially in New Orleans. Especially in New Orleans, folks are taking things seriously right now. You know why? Because they know it could go down at any time. It could go down at any time. And on the one hand, I hate to see it like that, but on the other hand, this is good. This is good that nobody is really sitting up here taking anything for granted and everybody's taking it seriously. This is good that that's what's happening. Nobody is looking to the celebrity class. You can't go send out some LeBron James or somebody with a shoe endorsement deal to go and calm the masses down. It ain't gonna work. I mean, there are some people who say, when we say, has LeBron said anything, we're just saying that, rhetorically. We're not literally sitting here saying, boy, I really wish LeBron would say something. We really waiting around. We ain't waiting for LeBron to say a damn thing. We got this. We got this. LeBron, you ain't said nothing before. All we're really doing is pointing out that if they think they're going to send you out to be our spokesperson, if they think they're going to send you out to influence it, hell no. Ain't happening. You lost your credibility a long time ago. Keep doing what you've been doing. Put on a big ass grin, your metrosexual suits. Go hang out with Kevin Hart and leave the real work to the real men and women. You sit over there in the puppet seats. That's where you go. That's where you go. Yeah, y'all are right. That's your tax dollars at work in Akron. For those of you who saw my documentary film, Race War, I showed y'all. If you saw my documentary film, Race War, you can see there were literally hundreds and hundreds of police in Noonan, Georgia, and then probably 1,000 or so in D.C. for Unite the Right 2. I mean, I'm sitting up here showing you they were stretched out across multiple blocks at the White House and pretty much all the blocks surrounding the White House, 2 and 3 blocks away. Dozens upon dozens upon dozens of them. Maintaining white supremacy is an expensive venture. Maintaining white supremacy is expensive. That ain't cheap. White supremacy is not cheap. White supremacy is expensive, always has been. And the more that you try to tighten down the screws, the more expensive it gets. The more you try to cover for it, the more expensive it gets. The point I'm making to you right now is that the word is out that these kind of activities now come with a penalty. The whole point is that right now it comes with a penalty now. It's going to come with an invoice. And that invoice is going to be hard. No, it's not going to be any activities. It's not going to be any celebrating. Man, look here. It's going to be nothing but curfews and tennis shoes. That's all it's going to be. No celebrating, no fireworks. The concerts have been canceled. The shows have been canceled. The basketball and football game have been... No, celebrating at the park, no, all that's canceled. Now, we done with all of that. We done with all of that. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. Some of you might think I'm being hyperbolic. Some of you might think that I'm being hyperbolic. No, I'm not being here. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about here. Down here in New Orleans as we speak, I've been posted up for days. I've been making the rounds. This is Canal Street at St. Charles and Canal Street. Single most famous place in New Orleans, St. Charles and Canal Street. And this was a couple of hours ago. I'm going up St. Charles Street from Canal. You want to see what's happening down here? Just thought I'd go ahead and show you that. This was the Superdome a couple of days ago. Little busy in there, but this is on today, 4th of July on Canal Street. You tell me, are there throngs and masses of people down there? Or are folks serious? Don't worry about him, the meth got him. I just wanted you to see, it ain't no joke. It ain't no joke for everybody. Everybody's on notice. Everybody's on notice. It's not a bunch of folk down here whooping it up and drinking and having a good time and whatnot. It's a subdued environment down here. It's a subdued environment. I wanted to show you on location exactly what it looks like. It's a subdued environment down here. There's folks down here, but folks understand, you're going to visit, but you better not drop your guard. You might visit, but you ain't going to drop your guard. Better not do that. And I'm telling you this is good. I'm telling you that this is good. You're right. The Essence Festival is done. The Essence Festival is done. And the 4th, you figured like it dovetailing off the 4th of July, you figured things would be popping right now. Man, you couldn't be further from the truth. You couldn't be further from the truth. Everybody's on high alert. That's what I'm trying to tell you. There's tension out here. Everybody's on high alert. Everybody knows it could go down at any second. No matter where you are or what's going on, no matter what's happening, everybody knows it could go down at any second. That's where we're at right now. That's where we're at right now. Right now, it could go down at any time. You damn right folks are scared out here. Folks are scared and taking it seriously, and this is exactly the way I want things to stay. I want it to stay just like this, all that lax and lean back and have a party and take it easy and lock hands, man. Damn all that. We are on high alert, and we need to stay on high alert. We're on high alert, and we need to stay on high alert. Everybody is on alert right now. Everybody's head is on swivel. Everybody is looking around. They recognize what the hell's going on. Yeah, it needs to stay just like this. Exactly. It needs to stay just like this. Jason, for how long? Until we get to liberation, and even after that, we're going to have to crank up the vigilance even more just to hold on to what you got. Just to hold on to what you got. No, we don't need a holiday. Damn a holiday. We don't need a day off. Damn a day off. Every time you turn around, if you want to know what the price that we've been paying is every time you turn around, somebody is telling us that they're going to make it easier to get sex, easier to get weed, easier to get a drink. All these things that narcosize and pacify the masses. That's what everything ends up being. Everything ends up being about a party and getting drunk and getting lit and getting loaded. That's what everything becomes about. Everything becomes about getting lit and getting loaded. And then it never stops. Then it becomes, well, all we do is party and BS. Let's get drunk every day. That's what it becomes then. No, I'm good. I'm good leaving things just the way that they are right now. I'm good leaving it just the way it is right now. And I've been to a few places down here. I'll disclose some of that a little bit later. I've been to a few places down here. And I'm telling you what the vibe is. And I'm telling you what the energy is. I'm telling you what's happening. Black folk ain't really down here right now, being really lackadaisical. Black folk ain't really down here right now doing that. That's not really what's happening. They're not really down here goofing off as usual. That's not really what's occurring down here right now. I'm not saying that everybody down here is soldiered up. What I am saying is that people are down here and the mood is a bit more serious than a lot of you might expect. And this is me talking. I'm like, okay, folks are looking around. Not so many dudes walking around with their pants sagging. Not so many of them walking around. Folks understand what the situation is. Folks understand what it is. They ain't just really sitting up to hang out like this. They're not really sitting up to hang out like that right now. Not really looking to hang out like that. No, the party is over. The party has been canceled. The 4th of July 2022 has been canceled, y'all. That's over. That's over. Nobody wants to sit up and party with you. And that's good. It took long damn enough for it to sink in. But that's good. We don't need not one more party or one more celebration. We don't need that. As a people, we can't afford that garbage. We can't afford people selling us on the need to party. What the hell we celebrating? What have we gotten to and what we earned and what do we have that we celebrating over? You'll have some really weak individual talking about, well, we celebrating being alive. Man, if you don't sit your ass down with that stupid talk. That's prison babble. That's prison babble. Somebody in a damn prison sitting around talking about, well, we happy to be alive. Nigga, you on death row. You're on death row. Talking about you're glad to be alive and you're on death row. You're in solitary confinement. Talking about you're glad to be alive. You're in solitary confinement. So I'm happy to be living. What you living for? Haven't seen your kids, spoken to your mama or anything else. What the hell are you living for, man? Some of y'all need to quit with the damn prison babble. You got no rights, no freedom, no upward mobility, no anything. I'm talking about, well, I'm celebrating being alive. He's sitting in a 6x6 cell talking about he's celebrating. That's not celebration, sir. That's delusion. That's not celebration, sir. That's delusion. So I'm glad to see this. I'm glad to see that this is where we're at right now. I'm glad to see that folks are taking it seriously. I'm glad to see that the holiday has been canceled. I'm glad to see all of that. Sign me up. Yeah, forget about taking it easy. Bring me independence and insurrections. That's all I'm looking for. And I'm good. and pass that down to the children. Pass that down to the children. That the party is over. We need to have young folk who understand the party is over. We need to have young folk who get that the party is over. They're not sitting around and looking around for somebody to make them comfortable in their jail cells. That's the whole damn issue that we've been dealing with, is these old folk and these defeated Negroes been trying to make every damn body comfortable in their jail cells. They've been trying to make you comfortable having nothing. They've been trying to make you comfortable doing without. They've been trying to make you comfortable sitting around in a state of constant oppression. That's what they've been doing. And then make you a fanboy or a fangirl of it. And then what ends up happening is they sit up here and tell you, well, don't worry, somebody's going to save you from it. There'll be a Jason Black or somebody else is going to jump in there and save you from all of that. That's the issue that we run into. We run into a situation where folks sit up here and tell you there's going to be somebody who's going to save you from those circumstances. Then the lights come up behind you. Then the lights come up behind you. No, leave things just the way they are. I'm happy with it just the way it is. I'm happy with the block staying hot just the way it is. However, you might disagree. You might disagree. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the telephone lines for you. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the Black media. No shorts taken, no holidays taken. We are here, live, on set, on deck, on location. The biggest party city in America, and I'm sitting here right now to report to you tonight. You ain't heard no yelling, screaming, fireworks busting. How much celebrating have you heard behind me? How much celebrating have you all heard behind me? I got folks in Chicago reporting to me the same thing. I got folks in Chicago reporting to me the same thing. Folks ain't really sitting up there being all festive tonight and whatnot. You're hearing it from a number of different places. Folks, it's a whole different vibration going on. Whole different type of energy happening now. And it's not a pandemic that did it. Whole different species of energy happening today. And that's what the hell I'm looking for. Yeah, damn a party. Don't need it. Let me go ahead and open up the phone lines. Let me get caller from area code 646. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
It's Onan. What's up, Jason?
Onan from Queens. What's on your mind?
Yes, sir. So I have to. I got to give you your praise for doing this broadcast. I'm so glad that we got Black people that are finally waking up. They're not dealing with the nonsense anymore. We're not going to church, praying, hoping and wishing that things will become better. You know, we're actually going to go out there and do the work. And you know, you put out the call. You and Professor Black Truth and Tariq Nasheed. Time and again, you've inspired us so much within the B1 community, and I just got to give you a praise for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for checking in with us here tonight. I want to thank all of you who've tuned in to tonight's program. Thank you to everyone who's contributed to the program tonight on PayPal or Cash App. So I appreciate you all here as well. So big shout out to my man Andrew L out there. I see you out there, brother. I appreciate it. And also hit the like button for me. YouTube is going to try to make it seem like a bunch of folk are tuning in, but nobody likes it. If you like the fact that we are not taking a day off, if you like the fact that we are here, and if you are a fellow soldier with us, don't sit in the background. Hit that like button. Let's let them know that everybody here is on the same page. Let me get caller from area code 706. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Caller from area code 706. You're on live. Caller from area code 706 has been abducted. Call from area code 330. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Jason, how you doing? I'm Algie, calling from Akron, Ohio.
Algie from Akron, and what's going on down there, brother?
Well, they got downtown shut down right now for what I'm seeing. I'm a truck driver. I'm on the I-76. Well, I've been off today, so I've been trying to see what's going on, but everything has pretty much been shut down. Everybody, they see what's going on out here. They're not really out with the fireworks and all the bullshit. And
yeah, that's the thing we were taking a look at there to see whether or not they were going to have their usual holiday festivities, and it's looking like all that got shut down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, even my brother that's in Florida, he's saying in Broward County, like they're not even doing much out there too. Like people looking at this like this is crazy. So I think this is something that people are seeing and they taking it serious. Not everybody, but there's a good amount of people that's not really all with the fireworks and all this and all that right now because they see what's going on with that shooting. And then another thing, people don't have money like that to be going out and partying, all because of inflation. So
well, let's be clear. Folks are like winos and drug addicts. They find money to bull jive around with. When they want to go bull jive, they'll find the money to do that. So if the money ain't moving, it's because they've made a cognitive decision that we ain't gonna just do that. We're not gonna do that. I'm just telling you, the whole mood has changed. It's not a festive vibe going on right now. It's not a festive atmosphere. It's not a festive vibe. It is not really something you can overlook like you used to now. Whole different thing going on. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get call from area code 646. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's up? This is Electron Algorithm calling from Boston, Massachusetts. What's going down?
Electron Algorithm from Boston. What's on your mind?
Well, I kept my black ass in the house. I don't want to be around a bunch of people. I don't know what the hell could be going on. I kept it plain, sweet, and simple. Staying. Got my brews. I got my steaks. I got my food. Couple people over here. I don't need to be outside with a bunch of people. Motherfuckers start shooting shit up. I don't want to get caught up in that crazy nonsense.
Well, right now with the white supremacists out here, there's a whole different vibe going on. Let me get call from area code 804. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, Mr. Jason Black. This is Kendall from Richmond, Virginia.
Kendall from Richmond, what's on your mind?
Yes, I've been taking a pulse. I love the new black media because you guys have been keeping me so informed, and I'll be trying to get the young people to stop playing around and listen to you guys. So I've been doing a post in Richmond, Virginia. Have you heard about the shooting? Have you heard about the shooting? Nobody's heard about it. Nobody knows anything. Everybody's just walking around like nothing's happened. And the sad part is our country wants it like that. This is a travesty. And I keep trying to get these young people to get on code. Listen to the new black media. Listen to anybody. I know it's harsh when you hear some of these things and it's going to make you have to change your life, but we got to get on code. I just want to thank you for what you're doing, sir. All right. And nobody knows anything about this in Richmond, Virginia.
Well, I'm sure more people might know about it than you suspect, but definitely the word is out on that. We want more people to be aware of it, though. That's for certain. Let me get caller from area code 832. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Jay, what's going on, man? Big Hill from Houston.
All right, Big Hill from Houston. What's on your mind?
I want to ask you a question, man. I appreciate all you do, man, but I got a question, man. What's the race of this dude who did that, man? I don't know.
Well, if you're talking about in Highland Park, Tariq is reporting that it's a white fellow who was doing that. So it looks like a young white male was sitting up there, and like I say, apparently he was sniping down at people. So if you all remember, this is a motif. This is a motif now. Let me go ahead and connect the dots. If you all remember, Charles Whitman, The original sniper. University of Texas. Remember that's what he was doing. He was sniping at people from the clock tower. If you remember that. Back in
I remember.
Back in 60, 66. And I'm telling you, he was sitting up there sniping at folk then. Then you have the MGM sniper. Remember him? A few years ago.
Yeah. In Vegas, yeah.
Went into the casino at a concert.
Bay, something like that.
He went there because he knows it was a country music concert. Busts open the windows. He puts an improvised device on the guns so to turn them basically fully automatic. And he let it spray. Shot them all down from the 40th or 30th or 40th floor, whatever he was on. 20th, 30th, 40th, 50th floor, however many floors it is. I don't go to Vegas like that, but now you're seeing again another one. Let me get from a high position so I can start picking people off, because it's going to be in a crowd, it's going to be a whole lot harder for you all to move. It's going to be a whole lot harder for you to move. So we're seeing a motif here. We're seeing a motif happening. This is a pattern of behavior. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Anybody not taking this seriously, recognize a pattern of behavior. Caller from area code 267, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good afternoon. This is Timmy calling from Fort Ewens, California. I want to make a comment regarding these shootings that are happening. First of all, what I noticed is I'm noticing that they're not talking about it a lot, which people have already, brought forward. And it's a shame because, people who are around me, they don't even know what's going on. And so how are people supposed to be alert if they don't even know what's going on? And the second thing is I'm so ashamed of Nigerians right now. The broadcast you did the other day really upset me. I think it's disgusting that somebody would talk about, Emmett Till like that. I notice with Nigerians particularly, they do have a white supremacy mindset. And I apologize to, everyone for the way a lot of these Nigerians have been behaving. Even amongst other Nigerians, we have a lot of infighting, and you're very right. You have a very backstabbing culture, and we brought that over here. And, if you don't even want to trust Nigerians, I don't even blame you, because, to be honest, I don't even trust Nigerians. That's all I'm going to say, so thank you very much.
Thank you for giving us a call tonight. Please do give us a call again. Let me get caller from area code 323. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, B1, Big Brother Jason. This is Brother Elijah calling out of Washington, D.C.
Elijah out of D.C. What's on your mind?
I want to just say, look, thank you for tonight's broadcast. It really means a lot, especially, like you said, if white supremacy doesn't take a holiday, neither do we. I got a question. You said something that was very deep with the pulling up. You said we wasn't even doing this 5 years ago and 10 years ago. What with your wisdom, what was from what you saw, what was the last straw when all of this started to really, really happen, Big Brother?
Trayvon Martin was really where that started from. That's really where it came down, because a lot of people, it got a lot of attention with a lot of people, and a lot of folks were making assumptions about how it would be because it was so brazen and because it was so blatant. So a lot of folks made a lot of assumptions about how it would go down, and it was only here at the New Black Media. You remember, I was broadcasting that night when there were some pundits and some people saying that Zimmerman was going to be convicted. And I was sitting there that night saying, if you think that Zimmerman is going to get convicted, you haven't been paying attention to the last 200 years of American history. Now, if I was going to be proven wrong, that was going to be the night to do it. If I'm just out here rabble-rousing and saying things to get attention, that was the night that would have proven it. And yet it broke exactly the way I said it would. And then everything else after that Because I noticed, I'm like, whoa, people's response changed. So like I say, it's just one of those things where I can't really tell you why it was that Trayvon Martin was enough. And then after that, Trayvon Martin's where it started, and Mike Brown is where the avalanche came down.
Yes,
so
sir.
from Trayvon to Mike
Yes,
Brown, that's really that gap right there. People's attention is on it. And from there, that was it. The other thing is you have a generation of young people. Their response to these situations is totally different. The civil rights generation wanted to back down and bow down. Let's call it what it is. They wanted to do that. This generation is different. They don't want to back down and bow down. So you caught these young people at just the right time in their lives to stand up to you. So long story short, what happened was you got the right generation in the right place at the right time under the right circumstances doing the wrong thing to them. That's what happened.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller area code 757. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, Jason. This is James J. calling out of Virginia Beach, Virginia.
All right, James, out of Virginia Beach. What's on your mind?
I just wanted to add on to what you're saying there, bro. We need to, as a people, go ahead and plant the seeds in our minds that it's time to stop being delusional and doing acts that are described as insane, such as voting and going to church, things that do not improve our situation. If you really want to improve, you have to make a change, people. And those are the changes that need to be made from my perspective, as well as to stop supporting things like 4th of July, Christmas, Thanksgiving, any one of these little stupid holidays that they want to put out there as if we're supposed to be happy about something. Look around, people. If you're the same complexion as me, if you're a dark-skinned person, you don't see anything for real that this country is trying to do in order to improve your situation. Nothing. So go ahead and do the right thing. Stop voting. Stop supporting the foolishness and go ahead and stand up. Put your foot down like them Jews did in Israel and say, no more. It cannot keep on going from here. We have to stand up, put our chest out, and be ready to go ahead. If it comes down to it, yeah, go ahead and get physical with it. I don't give a fuck. Pardon me. But I reached my limit with all of this foolishness that's been happening to my people. And we just keep on taking it like we have to. I don't like the mockery where the white man tries to say that black people are less intelligent, as if we don't have real. This is our land. You people are the immigrants. You shouldn't even be able to open your mouth. This is mine. Why do we have to sit back and watch like this, Jay?
Well, because previous generations made it in vogue to do that. They made it all right to do that. They gave folks the idea that, hey, you can do them any old kind of way, and they're going to accept it. So this is what I've been saying now for a decade. This is what it is a huge re-education effort. This is a big re-education effort. We have to re-educate the entire society that we're not the civil rights generation. Because there's the real problem. They did that to the civil rights generation for decades, and they sat there and took it. Not only did they take it, we just have to accept, hey, John Lewis was not the exception among the civil rights generation. He was the rule. Elijah Cummings was not the exception. He was the rule. Al Sharpton was not the exception. He was the rule. And we have to just accept that's what they were doing, which is why, look, brother, when nothing's getting done, that ain't an accident. It's not an accident when things this heinous are happening and yet nothing's getting done. If something this blatant and bold and consistent and persistent over an extended period of time is happening to you, this is being allowed by somebody and engineered by somebody else. So the person engineering it can engineer it, but you are what throws a monkey wrench into it. You see, they engineered the murder of Mike Brown. Ferguson, we all stood up, and there goes the monkey wrench. They engineered the killing of Eric Garner. Here comes the monkey wrench. Engineered the killing of George Floyd. Here comes the big monkey wrench. And on it goes. So what I'm saying is, yeah, they could engineer it, but the only difference now is this generation is not accepting it. Now, there's where the change is coming in. So that's why, for example, when Barack Obama came into office, I think all of y'all remember that. When Barack Obama came into office, man, white folk was real rude. I'm talking about the grocery store. They wouldn't move their buggies out the way. I think all of us notice the same thing. They just all these little subtle acts of passive aggressive behavior. You notice, I'm sure you all probably noticed a sharp uptick when that happened. When Obama gets in office, the next thing you know is there's a sharp uptick in passive aggressive behavior. Not that he was doing anything for us, but just the optics of it. Just the optics of it were more than they could take. So next thing you know, folks aren't moving their buggies. Road rage is increasing. They're acting like a fool and whatnot. So next thing you know, after Mike Brown, a lot of that bull jive fell off. After Mike Brown, a lot of it fell off. And ever since George Floyd, it's been a whole different kind of thing. So this generation is waking them up. And because what has happened previously is they would do these things. We take to the street for a minute and then go home. So what we trained them to believe was that they could do these things to us, and that in the 60s, they was in the street for a little bit, but then they went home. And ever since the 60s, if something does happen, they'll go to the street for a minute and then go home. And then there was the LA riots in the 90s, and they was out there for a little bit longer, but they went home. So that's what we've trained them. It's a Pavlovian response. We've trained them to believe that no matter what they do, we'll take to the street for a minute, blow off some steam, and then in a day or two, it'll be business as usual. The monkey wrench is that it ain't been business as usual. It's been a damn decade since Trayvon Martin was killed, and there's no letting up. So now they understand, I'll be damned, it's the new normal. And the reason for that is the civil rights generation conditioned them over the course of 5 decades. You can't let somebody get away with something for 50 years and then think you're going to be able to correct their behavior in 2 or 3 years. No, you're going to have to put in a long period of time to correct that behavior.
Hello?
Yes, sir. You're still on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what you're saying about the civil rights generation is correct for the most part. My father was one of the civil rights generation that was a bit different. This man's name was James F. Gay Sr. He was a lawyer here in Norfolk, Virginia. He single-handedly changed the politics in this city by having a federal injunction placed against at-large elections. With that move, of course, after that, things went down. They canceled his ass. But
well, that's good. The only issue is that men like your father, and I had folk like that in my family, but we also have to accept that they were the exception, because if men like your father were the rule, Malcolm would have been a whole lot bigger than he was. We wouldn't have seen a whole lot. Hell, we never would have needed the Panthers. So I'll give it to your dad. The men like him definitely did exist. Unfortunately, they were not the rule. They were the exception. Hopefully today we change.
So what we're really looking at is fear. A lot of these people out here seem to be afraid to stand up for themselves.
And the only thing that changes that is when you make it clear to them that there are enough of us who are not afraid and we're watching. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. There are enough of us who are not afraid, and the folks who are afraid, they better recognize we're watching. We're watching everybody. Caller from area code 312. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
It is John. I'm calling from Gary, Indiana.
John from Gary, Indiana. What's on your mind?
Yeah, it explained to me how the news, the Highland Parkland thing, they're not saying mass shooting. They every time it's somebody black shooting, it's always mass shooting. When somebody other color, all of a sudden it's a shooting.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out how they can spin this, because they all were saying Chicago, and now they're like, oh, it didn't go the way they thought it was going to go this time. So they're trying to figure out a way to spin this in a manner in which they can use. And the events are not working out in their favor at all. Not working out in their favor at all. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 314. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Caller from area code 314. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Okay, caller from area code 314 has been abducted. I want to thank all of you for tuning in here tonight and for joining us. So I definitely appreciate that. And I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal or Cash App. I appreciate that as well. So big shout out here to Miss Chatters. I see you there on PayPal. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. And to everyone else who's contributed to support the program here. Let me get caller from area code 330. You're on live with the Black Channel. Is this Frank?
Yes, it is.
All right, Mr. Henderson.
How you doing this evening, Jason?
I'm glad to see you here, brother. You've been posting up and retweeting here on Twitter today. So where are you at right now?
I am actually at home. Just got back probably about 15 minutes ago before the curfew started, before stuff really started jumping off, but I'm actually going to be heading back out.
Okay, so are you actually in Akron?
Yes, live in Akron.
Okay, so this is Frank. He's been posting me and retweeting me. He's been spreading the word here and everything, so he's been on the ground, making it clear here. Folks are posted up outside the mayor's house. The armored vehicles are rolling and patrolling. Downtown is all blocked off. So is it safe to say that the 4th of July has been canceled in Akron?
Yeah, we're safe to say it's been canceled.
Okay. Just wanted to see. I want to see was it that or if it's going to be business as usual. Sounds like it's not going to be business as usual. So.
No, it's not going to be business as usual. Not at all.
What are you seeing down there?
Basically, other than the cops being a bunch of punk asses, it's like the usual stuff of them trying to blame Jalen Walker for getting killed. So they can't seem to justify, not to mention with them with the severely edited video that they released. Also, I don't know if anybody I tagged you in a couple of things, you and Marcel and Professor Black True. They actually had 3 hours before the media was actually notified. So the thing that sucks here about the local coverage here in Akron, we kind of heard a little bit about the shooting like on Monday, day after it happened. Then I'd say probably by Thursday, that's when we actually found out a lot more about the amount of bullets that were being discharged at this young man. And I'm 47, and I got to the point where it just hit me different this time, where I just get to sit around and not do shit. Because there's so many people that are talking shit and stuff. They're scared. You only die once. It's like, get off your ass and go do something. So basically, I was out there representing me, my wife, and my 18-year-old and stuff. So,
well, here's the thing about it. I posted up on Twitter here earlier that had this been a 25-year-old white female, and she's out there driving reckless. Everybody saw the video of the white female who got put in the police car. She gets her cuffs in front of her and then steals the police car and is running down the road and rams cops and every damn thing else. If this had been a 25-year-old white female, if this had been Ashley Babbitt, now you take a look at the responses that white society gave with Ashley Babbitt, and she was part of a damn bunch of insurrectionists storming the Capitol building.
Exactly.
Storming the Capitol building, and they put the black police officer on trial for what happened to her in the media. They were condemning him, and she was part of a group of rioters. And nobody was saying the same right wingers and white folk out here, suspected white supremacists, right and left wing, weren't out here saying she should have just complied. There was none of them saying she should have just complied. She was a woman and she was unarmed. Of course, being a woman and unarmed has never mattered before now. Breonna Taylor was a woman and unarmed, and Rakia Boyd. And
in our own damn home.
Yeah, you get the point here. Sandra Bland. We can give you any number of black women who were unarmed and wound up dead, and yet nobody was using these statements then. So you only hear you should have complied and this, that, and the other when it's black folk. Now that's the only time you hear that. But if he had been a 25-year-old white female, you wouldn't be hearing any mess like that. So that's the reason why we're not playing the games about this. We're not playing the games about this. If this had been a 25-year-old white female, the mayor would already be under scrutiny. They'd be calling for the attorney general to come indict him and every damn thing else. They would already be calling for all the cops to be arrested. Why do you have to shoot a 25-year-old white female that many times? Why do you have to do that? And yet when it's black folk, all of a sudden, well, so what we're doing is we're not arguing with them about that. We recognize, look, you're in a race war. You're in a race war. That's what it is.
Yep.
You are in a race war.
I just want to make 2 more points before I let you go, and so I can just listen in. I'm tired of people asking these celebrities to speak out. They don't represent us. They got their bag. They basically got their paymasters. They're getting their cash. And the second one is like all these damn fossils of the Congressional Black Talkers. It's like, forget them too. If you see Maxine Waters and James Clyburn, they ain't going to say anything. They probably have a damn fish fry somewhere. And that's all I got to say for tonight. B1, I'll be sure to post up some more stuff and tag you guys in them.
Black First, brother, thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. And absolutely, look, we don't need the celebrities. The only reason we bring them up is to keep people reminded that you cannot count on them. Change comes from the ground up, not from the puppets down. Change comes from the soil. This is a movement, and this is change that's coming from the soil, is what I'm trying to tell you. This is a change that's coming from the soil. It's coming from the people. It's not going to come from your bought and paid for puppet controlled celebrity class. It's going to come from us. Caller from area code 417. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, good evening, Brother Jason. This is Alistair from Branson, Missouri. Another thing I want to talk about, I want to add on, is that we can't have, these quote-unquote activists like this one lady who was sitting up there shaming black people, especially black men, that if you don't vote, this is going to happen. I mean, we've been voting for over 50, 60, 70 years, and still we have police brutality and white supremacy going rampant in the black community. And this lady had the nerve to shame black people, black men, telling them we need to vote. She was some operative from Planned Parenthood. So what we're going to have to do, we have to stay on code and get rid of these people. Get them the hell out of there, because they're not doing it.
Well, look, I mean, here's the thing. I said this a decade ago. After Trayvon Martin, after Mike Brown was killed, if you all remember, Time Magazine and Black Enterprise and some of these other white publications, they were trying to create a new class of political activists. Because what they learned after Mike Brown and Eric Garner was nobody is looking for Al Sharpton to lead anything. You can't get Andrew Young, any of the civil rights fossils. Nobody is looking to them for guidance, for leadership, for anything. It ain't gonna work. So they found themselves in the dubious position of trying to explain, if we can't lead them, we need somebody else. And they were fully well aware what the new black media was doing, so they needed something to neutralize that. So they tried to drag out DeRay McKesson. They were going to christen him and the LGBT activists who call themselves Black Lives Matter Incorporated. They were going to christen all of them as our new spokespeople. That's what they were going to do. All of them were going to be christened our new spokespeople. That these were going to be the civil rights leaders of the 21st century. And that they were going to be running it. And that they were going to be the ones who were going to take messages from. And then it fell flat on its ass. That's why it's so important for us when these folks show up in places like this, folks like Roland Martin and others, we got to pull up and be on deck. DeRay McKesson got shut down because when he hit the streets sent him packing. You can't use a tool that gets run off the block. You can't use a tool that's constantly running. You can't use a tool that has no respect from the soil. You can't use them. That's right. So that's why with all those folks they named, they've all come and gone, including Ta-Nehisi Coates. None of them can go anywhere and get the soil to respond. None of them. So that's the reason why you've seen an effective change. So we're leading the narrative. We're leading the narrative. There will be no celebrities. You will not create any AstroTurf activists to take our place. No, none of that's going to work now. They tried it. They gave it their best shot. It didn't work.
You got to keep them out. We have got to keep them out, because if once they start getting involved in that, they're going to mess up the entire movement. They did it back in the 1960s when, you know, they had A. Philip Randolph and Whitney Young and all those idiots. I mean, they screwed that generation up. They screwed the civil rights movement up.
And there were a number of folk who saw it. You know, Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, Huey Newton. We can go down the list. That didn't happen in a vacuum. That did not happen in a vacuum. You had a bunch of brothers and sisters out there who were talking just like we are now. Only the civil rights generation, just say it like it is, as a group, they didn't have an appetite for it. They didn't have an appetite. There were some who were about the business, but when it came down to brass tacks, most of them were not. This generation is different. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller from area code 312. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Dante from Chicago.
Dante from Chicago. What's going on up there?
Got a question. With this Highland Park, Illinois shooting at the parade, right? Why they didn't shoot this guy that shot 36 people, injured 36 and killed 6 people? Why they didn't shoot him 90 times like they did Jalen Walker?
For the same reason that they didn't shoot Patron Gendron, for the same reason that they didn't shoot Dylan Roof, for the same reason they didn't shoot any of the others. Wow. The guy in Kentucky could gun down 3 cops and shoot a dozen more and be brought in alive. That's not a fluke. When you see a pattern of behavior like that, that's not a fluke. That's not a fluke. Black people are to be killed on sight whenever or wherever the opportunity presents itself. But as a white person, you got to understand, as a white person, the conversations that'll happen behind closed doors are going to be different from the ones that'll happen in front of us, man. It'll be different from the ones that happen in front of us. Folk will be asking them, hey, Brad, you sure you couldn't have just shot him in the leg, you know? Did you have to do that? I mean, look, they are sensitive to that kind of thing. They are sensitive to that. It's not accidental. Now, let me find out here. Usually, as you all are probably aware here, usually it goes around, what about Chicago? Black on black crime. So what are they saying up there tonight?
They dumbfounded. You don't get nothing. Crickets.
The usual slogans ain't working, so don't worry. We'll see what Tucker Carlson and friends, how they try to put a spin on it this time. We'll see how they try to put a spin on that. But yeah, when folks heard Highland Park in Chicago, they were all like, oh, well, there they go again. Next thing you know, you see what was happening. It's like, okay, turn the TV off. Turn the TV off. No footage. No footage. Turn the TV off. All of a sudden, it became that. That's not accidental.
One of their people was like, we got to hold the people accountable, the elected officials accountable. But it's like it's not that many black people up there. Where you at? You see what I'm saying? So what's going on?
Well, this time you can't use it the way that you want to here. And by the way, this begs the question. Now, if this fella here, and I think Tariq said he's like 22 years old. If this fella here is out there doing that, how many other times has he done this? Has he done this other times in other places? Did he cut his teeth shooting at black folk up there? Right. These are questions that folk need to ask and that folks really need to be questioning here. Thank you very much for giving us a call. When you got a fella here who just seemingly comes out of nowhere, folks, come on, when it comes to any type of violent crime, what do they tell you? They always tell you that there's a pattern of behavior. It's only when it's time to examine white folk committing a crime that all of a sudden it transforms and becomes, oh, well, you know, that was a one-off. That was just a one-off. That's not a pattern of behavior. That's just a one-off. That's just one. I mean, it's just one by themselves. How in the hell is it that this is the only time that you ever sit up here and say that when somebody commits a crime, it's a one-time event? That this is the first time they've ever done anything like that before. When you find somebody who gets caught stealing a car, it's never their first time. When it's somebody who robs a bank or a liquor store, it's never their first time. When it's a serial killer or a rapist, it's never their first time. When you find somebody that got the body parts chopped up in the trunk of the car, it's never their first time. And yet, now you're going to say, oh, you know the damn playbook, oh, it's the first time. And it never is. Call from area code 314. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name's Daryl. I'm calling from Jefferson City, Missouri.
Daryl from Jefferson City, Missouri. What's on your mind?
Well, I just want to share with everybody and you that I really appreciate what you've been doing. I'm a 59-year-old retired former banker, mortgage broker, and I'm the son of the civil rights generation. My parents were, involved in the movement when I was born in 1963. And they always taught me to get a job, go to school, integrate with the white people, get along. And in the last few years, especially after Mike Brown, I'm originally from St. Louis. I grew up near Ferguson. I do believe you're right. That's when things changed. The entire attitude of people in Ferguson changed. At the time, we had a congressman named Lacey Clay, who was the son of one of the original founders of the Congressional Black Caucus. And Cori Bush beat him. And, nobody thought she could, but the young people did that. And this generation is different than ours, for sure. I'm on social media a lot. I run a couple of jazz groups on Facebook and have a lot of friends my age. And they're all coming around. Lately, I've been sharing videos of, when I used to go hear Minister Farrakhan speak as a young man. And at the time, I thought, my cousin was radical for taking me to see him. And I was listening to it and didn't really understand it. But I was looking at a video today, and he was prophetic back in 1985, 1990. He predicted almost verbatim what's going on in the streets today. And the other day,
well, here's the thing, brother. I mean, the reason why that can happen is because it's not new. It doesn't actually require prophetic powers.
Right.
History is repeating itself. It's repeating itself, and eventually it's going to run out. People like Louis Farrakhan understood this. Malcolm X understood that the black folk from the 1920s weren't as militant as individuals like himself. And he understood that the Huey Newtons were coming up behind him. He said it then. Mm-hmm. He said it then that he did several speeches talking about it's a new generation of black folk out here. It's a new black generation out here. It's not the Uncle Tom generation anymore. So even he was seeing, hey, the tide is beginning to turn, which is why you started having the riots in the 60s like you did, because that's not really what happened when they bombed Black Wall Streets. When they bombed the Black Wall Streets, that wasn't the widespread response. Next thing you know, in the civil rights movement, the widespread response was taken to the streets until they placated enough people to get them out of the streets. 1991, there's a flash in Los Angeles, and that's it. Next thing you know, now 20 years after that, Trayvon Martin, and like Baldwin said, the fire next time. And you got a whole new generation who's like, okay, you know what? We got time. And we're not like our parents and grandparents. We don't have to accept this. We don't have to take it. We can actually put our cell phones down long enough to whoop somebody's ass.
Yeah, our kids are the millennials now. And, They are way different than I was at their age. And even my friends that are my age are realizing that the people that, like Minister Farrakhan, like Dr. Claude Anderson, were right. And it's not too late for us to teach our kids that. Maybe too late for us personally to go out there and build a business and teach our kids, Well, I encourage mine to go and try to open their own business, so they don't have to work for anybody. But that's not something I would have told them 5 years ago. But I've come around to that now because I realize that's the only way that we're going to, as a group, get to the next level. But
Well, you know, what I mean,
We're
a
the
business,
country.
a business is cool. Life insurance policy. Make sure you have assets. Make sure that you're telling your children about what they're supposed to be doing, and recognize the socioeconomic foundation is essential, and that white supremacy's power is in depriving us that. That's why all of this work is being done to deprive us of that. But it's a new day out here. Across the board, it's a new day. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 256. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, my name is Jada, and I'm from Alabama. And I was calling
Okay,
to let
Jada,
you
from
know
where
that
at in
I'm kind of going
Alabama?
back. I'm in Huntsville.
All right, Jada from Huntsville, Alabama. What's on your mind?
Yes. Robert Cramo, the shooter or the terrorist in the Highland Park shooting, was actually living, I'm watching CBS and I'm going back and forth between you guys, was living in a house with his father and his father's brother, his uncle. The house had gone into foreclosure a year ago, but they held it off and they got their final notice a week ago, the news media is saying. And that sent him crazy, and now he has a mental health condition, and that's what caused the white-on-white crime and caused him to go mad and go shoot up other white people.
Isn't that amazing?
We have 3 low-income.
Now, when you're black, when you are black and you suffer a socioeconomic hardship, you never get reclassified as mental illness. Nobody pulls out the mental illness card. If you're black and things don't work out for you socioeconomically, you should have worked harder and you should have done this, that, and the other, and you all are lazy and all that stuff. But when you're white, boy, I'm telling you, here comes the socioeconomic card. Here we go. And now mental illness and next thing, all that compassion and all these excuses and all these academic explanations all of a sudden, boy, I'm telling you, whiteness is grand.
Mm-hmm. So we have 3 underachievers, 3 white male underachievers in a house, and it didn't look like a very expensive neighborhood, could not keep a mortgage paid. So now because he couldn't keep his mortgage paid,
they don't have to. They don't have to. We white. We white. That's the whole point. Wait a minute, damn it. We're white. So just understand, if whiteness is not gonna be their perspective on this whole thing is different. The whole game they play, remember, everybody else gets called by their ethnic name. If you black, is black, African, whatever. Latino, you can be Mexican. Asians, when it's white, it's American. You don't get to identify them. It's just understood. Like Malcolm X said, when they say I'm white, when we say we're black, we're describing an incidental characteristic. But when they say they're white, they're not describing an incidental characteristic. He means something else. He means I'm boss. That's what he means. I'm white, supposed to be I'm privileged. So these are all the things that we've been saying all this time, that it is understood that that whiteness is supposed to come with unearned benefits. And one of those unearned benefits is, niggas get evicted, not us. Niggas get foreclosed, not us. It doesn't matter how low and raggedy on the socioeconomic bar we are. Damn it, our whiteness is supposed to be redeemable at the bank for something. Our whiteness is supposed to have a monetary value. I'm not saying this is hyperbole. I'm not saying this is metaphor. I'm not saying this is figure of speech. Take a look at these folks busting on people. Peyton Gendron, another white loser, busting on people. Dylan Roof, we can go down the list. All these white mass shooters busting on people. It's like, hey, whiteness ain't working for me. It's not working for me. These are not your well-to-do upper middle class folk. These are not your wealthy people. These are not people connected to generational wealth. They don't come from nothing like that. Ethan Crumley's family, we can go down the list. They don't come from anything like that. When they do this stuff, it's like they're saying, hey, whiteness ain't working for me. And if whiteness ain't gonna work for me, damn it ain't gonna work for none of us.
You are right. And I would not be surprised if in the morning when I get up, there is a GoFundMe to help them save that house or to relocate somewhere, even though he has committed this white-on-white crime, white America will still support this nonsense.
Understand something. I told y'all about this. For those of you who've forgotten from the first movie, RoboCop. I keep reminding y'all about the first movie, the first RoboCop movie, the original one back in the 90s, back in the late 80s, 90s. One directed by Paul Verhoeven, where the hostage situation at City Hall. The police get there, and one of the council members, he lost the election. He takes the mayor and 3 or 4 of the city council people hostage. He killed one of them. When the police show up, they ask him, okay, what are your demands? And it was a movie, but this is the way whiteness works. When they asked him, what are your demands? He said, first of all, I want some fresh coffee. Second of all, I want a recount of the election. And third, no matter how the recount turns out, I want my old job back. Now, he's at City Hall with a Uzi, killed one person, holding 3 others hostage. I want coffee, I want a recount, and oh yeah, by the way, I don't give a damn how the recount goes. I want to do the recount so it's official, but no matter how the recount goes, I want my old job back. So you think about the events.
Trump's been watching too much TV.
Well, think about the events that you're seeing here today, because that's the way whiteness works. First of all, I want a coffee latte. Second of all, I want you to recheck your records about my payments on this mortgage. And third, no matter how your checking of the mortgage payments goes, I want my house back. Now, when I say it like that, it's like, wow, you didn't know the movies were really doing that.
So often it works for them. So often.
Well, because they assure them of that.
I mean,
when you come in the door getting all kinds of preferential privileges and treatment, of course you assume that. Of course you do. You got a lower interest rate that you didn't deserve and didn't earn. And see, this is the result of all these decades of giving them preferential treatment in interest rates, preferential treatment in prices, preferential treatment in reorganizing and refinancing their debts. So eventually, by the time you get to the second and third generations, they're like, okay, look, you've been giving me discounts all this time. You can keep giving it to me. You can just keep giving it to me. You've overlooked these things before. You can go ahead and overlook that again. You can overlook that again. And then eventually it gets to a point where it's like, yeah, we're not going to do that. And that's when it becomes, okay, if whiteness ain't going to work for me, then damn it, whiteness ain't going to work for nobody. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 773. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Alexander from Waukegan, Illinois.
Alexander from Waukegan, and what's on your mind?
Ooh, Jason, pull-up summer is full effect. Shit is getting crazy out here, excuse my French. I currently live in Waukegan, which is it's about 35, 40 minutes from Highland Park Hospital, from where the shooting occurred in Lake County, Illinois. And I used to work at Highland Park Hospital over on Park Avenue in that area where the shooting happened. And it's nothing but racist white folks out there. And that's what, Michael Jordan, he still has a house out there. But a lot shit is getting crazy all throughout Highland Park and Highwood over in the area where the shooting occurred.
Okay, now let me find out a few things here. By the way, what type of area of town is that? What's the makeup of it?
It's like a city. It's like upscale, white folks, like mostly like what I would just say like Jewish. It's very like rich scale, but it's like it's no black people in Highland Park. The only upscale black people you see, the only black person I can name was Michael Jordan when he played with the Bulls, which he still has a house out there that's currently on the market that hasn't even been sold yet.
Yeah, like I say, it's folks try to spin it one way, but it's not going the way they were hoping for. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller from, let me see here. Okay. Now, Everyone, our good friend Leopold is on the line. Our good friend Leopold is on the line. I have a feeling that he needs a wellness check. So, I'm not sure what number he's calling from, but our good friend Leopold is on the line. Our good friend Leopold is on the line, so hopefully, if anybody knows his number, he can get a wellness check. See if we can, if anybody can assist him. Let me get called from area code 408. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, this is Mac calling out of San Jose, California.
Mac out of San Jose, and what's on your mind?
Yeah, what's up, JB? Man, I'm just calling because we got Dr. Boyce on Twitter today, texting, talking about black folks is scared of Trump supporters, and that, you know, we ain't seen enough killing of so many black people at one time. Then he had the nerve to say, like, when you see 10 or more black people get killed, let him know. And I text back, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like it's like you condoning that shit. I mean, it's a lot of shit that don't even need to be said. Like, why would you put something out there like that? So, I mean, what do you think of that? You know what I'm saying? To me, that's a sucker move to me.
Yeah, you can tell a tree by the fruit it bears. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Dude, why don't you go back to sleep, or at least let the white supremacist cellmates, you know, hang out with you a little bit? Why don't you do that instead? He's walking around. Leopold is walking around trying to figure out what he can do with himself. Go to bed, son. You don't want none of this tonight. Call from area code 708. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is William. I'm calling from Maywood, Illinois.
William from Maywood. What's on your mind?
I don't live too far from Highland Park, Illinois myself. But this Highland Park thing just made my day. The lie of the 4th of July, and this has happened, it just made my day, because I'm sick of the lie. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Let me get caller from area code 330. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Rudy from Akron, Ohio.
Rudy from Akron, and what's on your mind?
I was just calling in and just say, I mean, I've been out here. I've been noticing what's been happening here in the city. And, I mean, it's a lot of off-code Negroes here. I mean, I heard the caller call in earlier. But, I mean, as far as from what I've seen, it's a whole clip, about an hour clip of a Negro standing on top of a van on Copley Road in a vastly black area talking about black-on-black crime and until we love ourselves. And just they mad about the restaurants that got damaged downtown. It's like it's just a lot of off-codeness, especially a switch up from what happened with the Liam situation. They was so ready to fall in White Daddy's arms about that situation. When this happened, you got some people that are outraged rightly, but it's still a lot of just, you got people with Roe versus Wade signs, and it's just lost, it's all over the place. I'm here in the middle of the city. I know this city. Like, this is where I'm from, and I correlate with people here, and it's just a lot of off-codeness, and I just be...
Well, honestly, look, whenever these things occur,
we don't have a lot of people on code here.
I've warned you all. You got to watch out. Because every once in a while, you're going to have somebody jump up trying to perform. And you all got to check that when that happens. This is not the time for folks to be trying to perform and folks sitting up here trying to give out their OnlyFans and all that nonsense. So remember, checking folk comes from the soil up. It doesn't come from the top down. But you understand that's going to happen. You're going to have some clowns out there as soon as some cameras show up. Some individuals who are literally willing to risk life and limb to get 3 seconds of attention. That's why everybody has to be on code to shut that down when they see that. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Also, if you take a look on Twitter, by the way, I showed this here on Twitter. Like I say, the hardcore right-wingers, they took a L. They took a major L on this. So they are desperately trying to reframe this anyway in every which way they can. Look, this is why you cannot pay attention either to the so-called left wing of white supremacy, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, or the right wing, Fox News, any of the others. You can't pay any attention to that. They're sitting up here this is how ludicrous they are. This is how insane it is. They were so desperate that they could turn this into a Chicago issue that they're sitting up here saying the shooter, also known as Awake the Rapper. Nobody even knows who he is. What do you mean almost known as, also known as, known as that by whom? Folk, this is how desperate they are. White supremacy is about delusion. White supremacy is about looking you square in your eye and telling you a lie. Let's talk about this transatlantic slave trade. Wasn't no slave trade. Well, sure there was. We have pictures and documents and photos, and yo people said it. It wasn't a slave trade. It was an involuntary servant trade. As a matter of fact, it was a transatlantic trade. Yeah, it was a worker exchange program. Dude, it was slavery. No slavery. No slavery. This is what you're dealing with. That is why you cannot reason with white supremacy. You have to defeat it, but you don't try to reason with it. And it's not because they're stupid or they're dumb. They're evil. It is not because they are stupid or they are dumb. It is because they're evil. And they always have been. Call from area code 872. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
How you doing, Brother Jason? This is Grimes from Chicago.
Grimes from Chicago, and what's on your mind, brother?
I wanted to offer a little bit more information. You might be aware, but I just want to offer a little bit more information on Highland Park. I used to stay not too far from there back in the late '90s, and then up around 2000. I was a part of a church in Glencoe, not too far from there. We exposed Highland Park for their racial profiling problem. The chief of police fired white cops up there for snitching on him for having this thing in place called the NNUT ordinance, the No Niggas Uptown ordinance, or also called the Nut ordinance. So they were pulling over and harassing a whole bunch of black folks up there. I think it happened around the same time that I think some racial profiling got exposed on the East Coast. But yeah, and also Highland Park is a registered sundown town. And I come to find out that there were the same practices from like a whole chain of police departments up there from, I know the brother earlier called from Waukegan. Come to find out it was happening from like Waukegan all the way down to Wilmette, Evanston. So, that's just how bad it is. And, some people will try to act like it's only in Chicago. Well, there you go right there with Highland Park. And that's how deep it is. It's horrible.
Yeah, because that's the thing. When they were saying it and stuff, they were saying Chicago. That's what they were saying. So for those of you who don't live, for the rest of us, I want you all to know, for those of you who live up there, that's the way it was originally being said before. That's the way it was being presented before. Now it's become Highland Park, and now we don't want to discuss the shooter, and now, can we go back to talking about cornflakes and abortion? So, just so you all know, that's the way it was presented. Now that it can no longer serve their purposes, it's being directed in another area here. So what you're about to see is a group of white folk get cold gunned down, and the white media is going to put icing straight over this. That's what's going to happen, because they can't use it. They can't use it. Because right now, what you would have to do is say, hey, we need to start mass incarcerating some white folk. Now, that would be the next logical step. Why are we not rounding up his family? Why are we not rounding up his friends? Who else knew about this? Let's give him the young thug treatment. Why are we not doing that? Because when it's black folks, we go grab the whole damn family. The media would be investigating his mama, his daddy. They would be going through their criminal history. They would have the whole damn family's criminal history would be on display right now. The whole damn thing. We wouldn't be looking for a damn thing. It would all be there now. We wouldn't be able to get away from it. But it's not. Because they can't use it. Thank you very much for giving us a call here. I'm glad so many of my folks up there in the Chicago area and Akron have been checking in. See, this is something new also. You're not going to get this on TV1, MSNBC, CNN. They're not going to sit here and say, hey, folks on the ground who live there, tell us about your experiences there. You're not going to hear this kind of stuff about Highland Park. You're not going to hear it. Folks told me about Highland Park, and it wasn't really a place I needed to go to. So for that reason, it's one of those things that didn't really, it's like, I know about it, but it's like, okay, it's never really been a place I wanted to go. But folks know the no-go zones up there. They know the areas where, we can do you how we want to. Like up there in Detroit, everybody knows about Grosse Pointe. Okay, watch out when you go up on Grosse Pointe. Watch out if you stray in that area. When you're coming out of Detroit, when you make your way out there, you make that, the right takes you back toward the hood, the left takes you towards Grosse Pointe. Everybody knows the no-go zones. You know the no-go zones in your suburbs and stuff. So these things are not accidental. They're not accidental. Let me get caller from area code 240. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Mark from D.C.
Mark from D.C., what's on your mind?
I'm just here to report that D.C. is hella off code today. There's fireworks all over the city. D.C. is just hella off code. And I'm not talking about the downtown parts. I'm talking about the parts where black folks congregate at. Just completely off code.
Well, welcome to D.C. They were about their LGBT parade, so thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller from area code 646. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Jason, good evening. This is Piaget calling from New York.
Okay, Piaget from New York. We're at New York.
Calling from the suburbs of Mahopac, 50 minutes from Manhattan.
All right, what's on your mind?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Jason. Another good broadcast. And I am a Jamaican immigrant. And I want to say on behalf of all the Jamaican immigrants who are in this country and who are on code, we want to say, first of all, we appreciate our presence being here and the opportunities we've gotten being here. And there are a few of us still existing here who are on code, who are B1, and who have recognized that we're in the middle of a race war, and we do not want to take your birthright as FBAs. We do not think that we should be trying to take your reparations. That is your birthright, and I recognize that, and we are here for the fight no matter what. There's some of us still existing, and I'm out here in the suburbs surrounded by a lot of Europeans, but I'm on code and I'm ready for the fight.
Well, we're glad to hear that, brother. And like I say, this is one of those things there for everybody who is on code. We rocking with you. Everybody who's on code is already with us, and they feel the same damn way. Because when we meet folk over here, whether they're foundational or not, if they're foundational and they're off code, they get checked for that. So it's really just about everybody being on code. So that's the kind of thing we like to hear. Thank you very much for your support. We appreciate it. We're with you. And thank you for giving us a call. Let me get caller from area code 984. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello.
Yes, put down the pipe. You're on live. What is your name? Where are you calling from? Turn off your speakers.
I am calling off the East Coast of America. I would like to keep my name anonymous.
Okay. Caller from area code 678. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, Jason. This is Robbie from Atlanta. How you doing, brother?
Robbie from Atlanta. What's on your mind?
Man, I just want to say that historically, harming black people has always been a form of entertainment. And I like how you
doubled down and said when whiteness doesn't work for them, the caveman comes out. It's like they reach their final form and show their true troll self. Now, here's the thing that I think is interesting, and I have to applaud the brother who said he was happy today with what happened. And I'm a preference and be professional with what I'm saying. Just yesterday, when they released that footage, you had trolls that were Hispanic, Asian, and white celebrating not only the fear porn that was released, but also it was one statement that stood out in my mind. This one man said, "For all true Americans, happy 4th of July." And, they referred to us as primates and all this. Oh, they were gleeful. Well, today, when this happened, it's like, how could karma be so beautiful and perfect? You couldn't have written a better script. It was Chicago. And then on top of that, it was somebody that was not one of us that decided to get upset and take their frustration out with political reasoning. So they couldn't put any spin on it, like you say. So I love how justice and the spirit of our ancestors rises up, because I had to check them on one thing. I said, how can you bring up police brutality and the 4th of July, and Crispus Attucks got killed from police brutality by the British? The level of their hypocrisy knows no end. And if we utilize their own credit score to properly evaluate their believability, their credit would be a 350. They've broken every treaty they've ever signed. They always speak with a forked tongue. And like you say, their hearts are full of poor evil and malice. So I'm not celebrating the death of children, but they get no sympathy from me. They say black tears taste delicious. Well, their tears are going to spike my blood sugar today. And I'm going to land my plane there. You have a blessed one.
All right. Well, thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We appreciate that. That is always helpful. And definitely, like I say, folks out here unhappy. They can be as unhappy as they want to be. And that's going to be a problem for them. It's going to be a problem for them because we're having a different conversation. We're having a different conversation than was had previously. We're having a conversation amongst ourselves, and they're not going to want that, because understand, nobody's taking their cues from Fox News. Nobody's taking their cues from them. Nobody who matters. All the folk who are already predisposed to believe the garbage, that was all. But nobody who actually matters is listening to them. That's why I was putting this together for you right here, so you can see that. And it's one of these situations here where if it's not working for them, then you notice those similarities. Things can flip real quick. They can flip real quick. They can flip real fast. You're in a place right now where I want you to know the tension. When I was talking about that, I want this to connect for you here about why the tension is what it is. Folks recognize it. They recognize it. It can go one way or it can go the other real fast. I'm going to take one more phone call here. Let me get call of area code 706. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yes. Can you hear me? This is Azariah.
Okay. Azariah from where?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. From Augusta. Sorry, I'm new to the channel.
Okay. Azariah from Augusta where?
Oh, Augusta, Georgia. Sorry.
Azariah from Augusta, Georgia. What's on your mind?
Yes, sir. First of all, I just want to appreciate, I appreciate you, Jason, your efforts on exposing feminism. I'm new actually calling in, but I've been watching the show for a few years, and exposing feminism and how it's destroying the black communities, and how you handled that whole Jason, how you handled that whole, Kevin Samuels thing. That was very professional. I'm gonna get straight to the point. It's tragic what's happening. And what really bothers me is they killing black men, every day. It seems to be no justice for the black men and no accountability for the black women. But we do need to come together. And I just want to really quick bring out, two things that I think black people should consider. I just want to say this real quick. I heard what you said before about Hebrew Israelites. The Bible is not a religious book. It's actually a book of historical facts and prophecy that actually identifies what's happening to our people, like getting shot down in the streets, the poverty, white supremacy, and how white people keep us oppressed.
Well,
And
certainly you
think,
can look out the window and see how they're keeping you oppressed. So I certainly think anything else is a great supplement in that regard. But at the end of the day, at some point you stop needing to be told, because the whole purpose of telling somebody something is you give them knowledge, you give them information, and then the final step is, all right, I have handed you all the raw materials. What are you going to do with it? Okay, well, he is having a tantrum there at the mosque, so we're going to go ahead and let him go there. But definitely, like I say, brothers and sisters from around the world, it's right now, nobody's celebrating. The 4th of July has been canceled. That's all I'm saying. The 4th of July has been canceled. You can forget about it. The 4th is done. And you know what? We're better for it. No more playing, no more partying, no more BSing, no more any of that. We're done. It's all over. And now you can start focusing on the business. As I've said, if we cannot all be equally comfortable, then damn it, we can all get equally uncomfortable now. So if we ain't going to be able to sit back and rest and enjoy the fruits and benefits of the nation that we built, if we're not going to get to enjoy that, then damn it, nobody gets to enjoy that. If you're going to create a place, understand something, that when you create environments like this, when you create environments where being white means you have a pass to do the most heinous things, and it will be upheld and protected in courts of law, upheld and protected and defended by your media, then these are the kind of things that occur. This wasn't some retaliatory shooting against a specific individual who did him wrong. This was them raging that things aren't going the way that they want them to be going. If I can't redeem my whiteness for its full faith and value, then damn it, everybody gets the penalty. All of y'all get this overdue bill. Everybody gets the penalty. And if you want to take a major step towards stopping this kind of thing, then what you've got to do is have justice across the board. People, it's going to be justice for all or justice for none. Or it's going to be, if it's going to be, it's not going to be, it's going to be either justice for all or injustice for all. That's what it's going to be. You're either going to give justice for all or there will be injustice for all. But how you deal with this is very simple. Stop having a culture where you deputize people. Stop having a culture where you sit up here and say, if a white man's walking down the street with an AR-15, he's legit, he's cool, he's fine. And then black folk try it and his guns drawn on them. That white people is okay to give them all kinds of breaks on their mortgages and interest rates and everything else, because when they show up at the bank, they're not redeeming a credit score, they're redeeming their whiteness. And then if things don't turn out the way they wanted, hey, everybody can get it. Everybody can get bucked down. Everybody can get it. So that's why I'm saying to you here tonight that, yeah, 4th of July has been canceled. The party's over. The holiday is done. Everybody, everywhere you are. Akron, canceled. Chicago, canceled. New Orleans, canceled. Everywhere you go, it's canceled. Folks got a whole different feeling about it, and that's the way it's going to stay. And that's the way it needs to be, especially for black folk. We don't need not one more party. We don't need not one more celebration. What the hell we celebrating? We don't need any of that. We don't need any distractions. We don't need any distractions. We need to stay focused like a laser beam exactly the way we are. So no, I'm very glad there's not a bunch of performative art going on. I'm very glad there's not a bunch of clout chasing like that. Very glad that's not the case. I think it is very unfortunate what has happened in Highland Park. I think that is very unfortunate. I think it's very unfortunate. I also think it's extremely unfortunate that it was predictable and preventable. It always is. But if you wish to change this situation in America, then you are going to have to change the culture of America. This idea that if you're a white person, it's understood that you can do as you please. Well, this is the result of saying if you're white, you have autonomy to do as you please. You are not bound by the mores of the written law. You are not bound by the mores of morality, objective morality or honorability, human decency or civilization. You're not bound by any of that. Folks, what I'm trying to tell you is that what you see on your screen right now, that is the other side. The flip side of the coin of I'm white and I say so. To the folks out there that behind closed doors, they get offline and snicker about it. By the way, this is the flip side of that coin. This is the flip side of I'm white and I say so. I'm white and I say that this is okay to do. This is where you end up at. You end up here. Might want to take this as your opportunity to diffuse that, eh? Might want to take this as your opportunity to diffuse that. Just a thought. Or don't. Or don't. That's an option for you too, although I don't think it's one you want to hold on very long. I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program here on PayPal or Cash App. So I want to thank all of you for joining us here. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every week and every weekend here. Over 143,000 subscribers and rising. We are not a little thing. So click that red subscribe button, click that yellow notification bell, join us each and every weekend. If you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, you want to go there and check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work, 7 a.m., Gentrified, Race War, all available on DVD and on Amazon. Go to blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. I want to thank all of you for joining us here tonight. We had over 6,000 people here, which shows a lot of folks are very serious. You used to not be able to see numbers like this during a holiday. You used to not be able to see numbers like that, but a lot more folk are getting on code. A lot more people are getting on code, and this has specific ramifications for the future. So I want to thank all of you here for joining us in the meantime. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.